Hi, my name is Donda Combs, and I am a full-time trader in the Java Pit, as well as a trainer in the training room for Stephanie Kammerman. For those who I've not had an opportunity to work with before, I spent many years as a coach and trainer at a Berkshire Hathaway subsidiary, working with top performers with a focus of taking their performance to the next level. I'm pleased to be able to combine my interest in training with my love for the market, and I'm happy to be introducing a new workshop titled Master the Dark Pool with a subtitle, A Step-by-Step Guide to Trading the Dark Pool Prints. So a heads up, the entire focus of the workshop will be centered on prioritizing results. This is my background, this is what I'm accustomed to, and this is typically the priority of those that I've worked with. So I'm genuinely wanting this to be a pivotal point in your trading business, and my goal is for each person who takes this workshop to look back and identify this as the catalyst for a higher level of performance. We're going to take a look at the topics for the 3 modules as well as examples for the interactive homework that's provided each week. And the homework will provide narrated overview of the key concepts and a variety of interactions through a PowerPoint type presentation, from quizzes, drag and drop, hotspots on charts to assist with identifying trends, and just many, many more interactivities. And this homework really follows the best practices for adult learning principles as well as neuroscience to ensure that we move from simply knowledge of the concepts and into application. So the first module is going to be 3 weeks long. Each of the 3 modules is 3 weeks long. And the first topic in module 1 is going to be Master the Basics. And so we're going to be focusing on ensuring that you have a solid working understanding of key concepts that are covered in boot camp. The splash, the second test, minion time, the day trade criteria, those levels, those entry and exit levels, and just many, many more topics. And after each of these weeks, we're going to have 4 days of interactive homework. And this is going to allow you to really solidify these concepts and put them to work. The next week in Module 1 is going to be control the trade. Don't let the trade control you. And so this is one of my 3 favorite weeks. So each module has one of my favorite topics in it, and I had to split them up because they are fairly robust and they deserve to be fully embraced. But control the trade, don't let the trade control you. So we're going to be looking at resistance levels, support levels, common trends, what to expect when we're trading any particular stock, and really begin to master anticipating the most likely scenarios and mapping out the most profitable trades. So this is going to be transformative, I do believe, for many people. Our goal will be exiting, following, plan the trade and trade the plan. Plan the trade and trade the plan. So this is going to be our takeaway from that, and really wanting to improve that ROI. And again, 4 days of interactive homework after that week as well. So let's take a look at the third week in Module 1, setting meaningful, measurable goals for your business. So, this is a best practice of top performers. And so we'll be focusing on setting meaningful, measurable goals in short-term, mid-term, and long-term timetables, and we'll be looking at it from 2 perspectives. So the first perspective will be action step goals, and the second will be the results that we're looking for. So these are 2 distinctive groups, and very often people will set their goals for their outcome, but they don't set their goals for the steps to get there. So we'll be doing both, and I've seen this be extremely effective for several decades. So it's a great path to follow. Okay, so let's take a look at the second module, which will again also be 3 weeks. So that first topic, the first week, is going to be understanding the life cycle of the print. And by far, this is going to be my favorite. So, really once we master this, it's going to transform the rest of your trading. So we're going to be reviewing countless prints from the date of the print to the actual move. We're going to analyze them. We're going to use be looking for common patterns. We're going to really equip you to take advantage of that upcoming move. So again, mastering this topic is going to serve to, end up being highly instrumental for impacting your success for all future trades. And we're going to have discussions and the homework that will equip you really to answer the question that everybody wants to know. How do you know when the splash is over? And should I trade the splash? And if so, how do I trade the splash successfully? So again, this is by far going to be one of my favorite weeks, and we're going to really dive deeply into this topic. The next week is going to be power questions to ask each morning to assist in selecting the best trades. So there are certainly power questions that I ask that allow me to really eliminate certain trades, to compare trades and look at them analytically and say, okay, even if this does this, this trade over here has a higher percentage, it has a better setup for these reasons. But being analytical in a way that takes that emotion out of it, and this is occurring typically for me pre-market, and then again mid-morning, I look at that again. So we're going to be looking at, how do we select those best setups in the morning? Because even the ones that Steph gives us, we can fine tune those, we can narrow those down from her whispers, and we'll be looking specifically at that. And then the last week in Module 2 is going to be increasing the number of profitable trades through the use of a trade evaluation worksheet. All right, so what we're going to be doing here is to discover your most profitable trade setup, and as a byproduct, we're going to be increasing the number of profitable trades that you take. So when you use this analytical trade evaluation form to backtest trades, I think you're going to have a lot of aha moments by discovering certain things that you should be avoiding, and certain things that perhaps you thought were effective or good trades may be lower priority to you after this evaluation. So our goal is to find your specific trade, and then to allow you to be empowered to go out and find that specific trade. And when you find it, go all in and make it a significant, ROI return. All right, so that will conclude our second group of 3 weeks for Module 2. And then finally, we'll be moving into our final module, again 3 weeks of Module 3. So the first topic in Module 3 is again one of my favorites, how to spot a 5-star trade. So let's talk for a moment about what is a 5-star trade. So for me, a 5-star trade is one that meets all 5 criteria. It's already splashed, and we're going to go into this in great detail during this week, but as a brief overview, it's meeting certain criteria, it's already splashed, and it's poised to move, and it's poised to have a significant move. So what we'll be looking at is first how to identify it, but secondly, how do we maximize the profit on these trades? So mapping out from the front side where we expect it to go, and perhaps having different strategies, option strategies, as well as stock strategies. So we'll be picking that apart so you guys can be looking and even setting goals. How many 5-star trades do you want to take this month? And meeting those goals will really impact your ROI. And then the next week is going to be time management tips to enhance your business. And, this is definitely a best practice of top performers. And, the topics that we discuss are going to be applicable to well into other areas of your life, not just your trading. What we're looking to do is really maximize the things that the task and the list on the things on your to-do list, so that we're maximizing the things that impact your revenue, and we're minimizing the things that do not impact your revenue. We want to impact those things that give you energy and propel you, excite you, move you forward. And so there's very specific techniques that we can apply here that will liberate you and free you from some of the things that are not being productive for you. And then finally, in week 3, that last topic is going to be evaluating potential swings with the use of a trade evaluation form. And so As you might have guessed, there will definitely be a checklist involved. And if you will, just visualize a checkbox with lots of little boxes, and you're looking to simply look at that stock at a certain time of the afternoon and put a check mark there. And you're going to be then able to say, all right, I only take trades that have these 6 check boxes or these 8, whatever your criteria is. Now you're going to have a system that can be replicated. And if you don't like the results, then we change the system. But I'm telling you, I think once you get to a point where you can duplicate your process, it will be very enlightening, and it will empower you to get into trades with confidence and increase your ROI. That's what we're about. All right, so let's talk for a little bit about what this format overall will be now that you an overview of the 3 different modules. So I'm going to be incorporating a lot of neuroscience and best practices from adult learning. That's my background and what we want is to be highly effective. So I'll be pulling in all kinds of tips and tricks that I know for a fact are best practices and do work. Every week on Saturday, we'll have a workshop about an hour and a half long. There will be a great structure for that. It's going to be very interactive, and we're going to allow time every week for goal setting. And again, we're looking to goal set for the action steps and then also eventually the end results we're looking for. And then we're going to have an opportunity for reinforcement of key concepts. And this is crucial for adult learners. So each week we're going to have 4 weeks of interactive homework, and that homework, I'm going to show you a couple of samples in just a moment, just screenshots, but it's interactive, it's fill in the blank, it's multiple choice, it's order these and put these in the correct order, it's hotspots, click here and read the note and then answer the question. So it's a very different type of learning, but what I want to share with you about why this is so important is something called spacing. And adult learners, research has shown that spacing is incredibly critical to internalizing new information and then being able to apply it. So spacing is repeating information over a longer interval, basically spacing it out, well past a few days, even a week, the same concepts over and over. And by doing this, the brain knows that it needs to retain this information. So rapid succession is not as effective as spacing. And so what's interesting is that we tend to forget nearly 50 to 80% of all new information that we have learned. We're going to revert back and forget that within just a few days. And so we tend to recall, much more and forget less when that learning is spaced across time and repeated in a similar format. So that's what these teaching sessions will be doing. They'll be tapping into the way that your brain works. So we're going to be using spaced repetition to improve long-term retention. And by the way, spaced repetition improves long-term retention by 200%. So I'm very excited about this, bringing this aspect. And then, we're going to have the interactive drag and drop, fill in the blank, quizzes, just so many things you guys are going to see to appeal to all different learning styles. And then I'm going to make sure that we have several levels of support. So we're going to be I'll be sending out a weekly email with tips and also some encouragement, which I have seen just be very appreciated by those that I work with. And then I'm going to be introducing something called a partner project. And for those interested, I'll be asking a few questions, getting an understanding of what level of interaction you may be interested in with another person in the workshop. And I'll be matching you two together and exchanging your contact information, and then giving you small projects to email one another with and just share a tip or a trick, kind of a touch base. And what happens here is just this small amount of accountability can be critical in moving you towards your goals. So just the slightest hint of accountability that you've chosen can be instrumental in moving you towards your long-term goals. All right, and then that fourth bullet point is setting those meaningful, measurable goals. So we really want to be looking for those short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. And we'll be talking about those in great detail, and we'll be talking about where to post them, how to word them, how to break them down. So a very structured approach. This is one of my strengths. And what I find is that top performers are often excellent at performance, but they become extraordinary when they have goals in front of them. They become parabolic with their results. So this is an exciting topic for me to get to introduce. All right, so let's take a look at some of the sample slides. So this is an example. This is because it's a sample, it's not interactive, but you would read the slide, choose your answer, and if it's a correct answer, a box will pop up and say, great job, and then it'll give a further explanation and a little bit more information to reinforce the concept. If in fact you choose an incorrect answer, it will say, not quite correct, not quite right, here's the things that you should consider, go back and re-answer it. So it's always going to take you back and give you a chance to get that correct answer so that you get that extra piece of information. So you'll have several, you'll have numerous fill-in blank. Here's an example of a hotspot. So you would hover over each of the plus signs there and it would give you a little pop-up to give you some information. This will be instrumental and so helpful in that workshop where we're really looking to understand the life cycle of a print. And then one more example. Here's another multiple choice, and again, you would have the pop up either correct with additional information or not correct, here's why. Now, give you a chance to go back and answer that question correctly so you get the additional piece of information. Thank you for joining me today for the overview of Master the Dart Pool. To help you identify the workshop on the website, here's a screenshot or a thumbnail of the icon that's used. And again, my name is Donda Combs. I look forward to having a chance to spend time with each of you on Saturdays. And for those who can't join the workshop live, they will be recorded and made available to you. See you then.